Namaste, happy Easter. Welcome to my weekly meditation class. I'm Kay. So let's start by just finding our center. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Feel yourself relaxing. And just settle into the space you find yourself in, wherever you are today. Visiting family, at home, on the road, out for a walk. Notice your breath. Notice how it feels to be in your skin today. Easter has always been one of my favorite holidays, for a few reasons. First is just the change of season. Easter is figuratively, metaphorically, literally also about rebirth, right? We're fully stepping into a period of rebirth on the planet or the northern hemisphere. Plants are budding and blooming and growing and reaching out of the ground. And there's this natural tendency within ourselves to open up to something new, to improve, to grow. We feel like spring cleaning and decluttering. We feel like heading outside and being active again, moving past the hibernation, the death of winter. I remember as a little kid going to church, one of my favorite hymns that we would sing this time of year went something like, in every seed there is a flower or an apple tree, every dawn a new beginning. Like there's a really strong connection to the natural world come Easter time, come the spring. And I love that. I love feeling like my body and my mind and my experience are in tune with the natural world. And so the Easter holiday really provides that nice little moment to be aware of it, right? We're naturally aware of, oh wow, things are changing colors. Oh wow, new life is blooming. So follow your breath and see, how do you connect with that feeling of new growth, rebirth, allowing yourself to extend a little past wherever you were a season ago. Another reason I really love the Easter holiday, and I was raised Methodist. I'm not entirely sure how I would identify now. Like, I'm definitely a tantric yogi, but my Christian heritage is very much a part of my practice in my life. And there are practices that I do that are in Aramaic and more Christ-oriented practices. But one of the things I specifically love about the teachings of this season is this idea of continuity. That we go through this season of death, right? And in the Easter story, Christ was killed, crucified, and yet was reborn, continued on. That there is no such thing as a final end point, but there is always that something after. And I don't think if you go to church that's probably something talked about a lot in Easter services, but there's this idea of no matter how final or horrible or deadly an experience can seem, life continues on. There is a continuity of experience, and from my perspective, I very much believe in reincarnation. I very much believe in other realms besides this earthly one that you can psychically, energetically travel to, that you can visit when you're not in a physical body anymore. And so this idea of there is more. And within our own just mundane lives, there's more, right? Like we experience death moments all the time. Heartbreak, loss, destruction. It feels like our world ends. But the story we hear on Easter is no matter how final or devastating the experience may feel, something can continue. There can be a rebirth of sorts. And that's really what yogis and tantric yogis strive for, is that experience of rebirth. That I don't let a death be final, but I grow into something new. And so I love that message of continuity that's provided at Easter time. I also love examining the similarities between traditions. And for me, Easter is one of the two biggest Christian holidays, at least probably the two I celebrate, Christmas and Easter. And then I also celebrate a lot of yogic and Hindu holidays. And it gives me a moment whenever I'm celebrating a Christian holiday to see not only the parallels, but the sameness between their teachings. There are scholars who theorize that the 7 years that are missing from Jesus's life, that he spent them in Tibet studying. And that actually after his resurrection, he actually returned to the Indus Valley and returned to Tibet and spent the rest of his life there. And there's some really interesting research around this idea of, was Jesus a Tibetan monk? And there are old texts that refer to a person from that point in time that came from the land Jesus is said to come from, with a very similar name, that came for 7 years, went away to his home, and then came back after and lived out the rest of his life there. And taken from that vantage, you look at Jesus's teachings, and they're pretty much verbatim the exact same things that are taught in Eastern spirituality. That there is so much crossover between Satyana Dharma and the teachings of Christ. Not modern Christianity and what the church says, but his teachings. And so these Christian holidays that I celebrate, like Easter, like Christmas, gives me an opportunity to feel the sameness and to feel the connection with my Christian brothers and sisters, and to resonate with them in a way that says, yes, we can celebrate the same holidays. Maybe my views are a little bit different, my practices are a little bit different than yours, but it can be still a beautiful expression of this amazing person who lived and inspired so many. So as we sit today, I really encourage you to find that resonance that you feel with people of other traditions, of other faiths, people in your family maybe who you don't agree with, and feel that resonance of sameness. Feel that resonance of continuity, that even if things have been bad or struggle-filled in the past, that there can be something that comes after. That we are always expectant for a tomorrow of some sort, even if it's nothing like what we expect. So take a few deep breaths and feel the web of connection around you. Feel how this Easter holiday, this story of rebirth, is a story that we all live every day. And even if you don't identify as Christian, or even if you do, how can you use this special sacred time to help you on your own personal journey and help you grow? What does a story of rebirth mean for you? What does a story of there is something after hardship, after loss, after death mean for you? What does a story of sameness and connectivity mean for you? And when those things come into your being, what do you experience? What do you feel? How do you resonate with those ideas? We are all interconnected. And none of us are as different as we might think. We're all soul travelers on a journey back to wholeness, back to perfect, complete interconnectedness. And some of us take different journeys through different bodies and different religions and different incarnations. But really, we're all the same. And if there's any wish I have for our world as it is today, is to step fully into that feeling of rebirth, that feeling of new life and hope and appreciation for what we have. Because we all have so much to be grateful for. And feel yourself breathe. Thank yourself for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to center and connect and working to connect with your most radiant self, to cultivate your most open, enthusiastically you, divinely inspired self. Remember, in meditation, there is no right or wrong way to go about practicing. There's no right or wrong way to connect with you. Be at peace. Bring our hands to our heart. Anjali Mudra, the place inside of me of truth, light, and bliss, acknowledges and bows to that same space in you, because inside, when we are centered here, we are all one. So thank you for meditating with me for this Easter holiday. I hope to have inspired you in some small way and given you some thoughts for your journey. Happy Easter. I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. Namaste.